Okay, so the next deck is Abzan Yorion, and this is my chicken soup for the soul. This is a list that Tianfa ran in a recent tournament, and it is just an honest-to-God Yorion deck in Historic. And creatures fear this deck. Um, Oath of Kaya, Mythos of Nethroi, Baffling End, Vanishing Verse. Yasharn turns off all the sacrifice outlets. Binding the Old Gods kills everything. Elspeth Conquers Death exiles everything. Maze Mind Tome is great in the control mirrors, and God knows you need it because the deck is terrible against control. Look at all the stuff that's just completely dead. And Despair, if you're up against control. The sideboard, you would think, would provide some help, but it doesn't actually. There's even more creature hate there. You have 2 copies of Legion's End, you have 2 copies of Extinction Event, and what you're leaning on are the 4 copies of Shifting Ceratops and the 2 copies of Thought Distortion against control, and my god, do you need to draw them. Because if you run into like the random Sultai Ultimatum deck, or you run into the Jeskai Mastery version, or God forbid the Jeskai Control version, you're pretty hosed. It's hard to imagine getting through that, because we just don't have much of a clock. So this deck will either run into some very good matchups or some very bad matchups, but we're gonna get to cast the Sky Noodle, and that's good enough for me. Um, this is kind of... We don't have our green. We don't know what we're playing against. If we're up against aggro, then Thoughtseize is going to be pretty medium. Oath of Kaya is okay. Maze My Tome helps us find our land. I'm going to keep this. I don't love it. Furycom Snarl tapped. I don't know what that is in Historic. Temple Garden is reasonably good. I think we Thoughtseize on 1, because I really wanted to cast the Maze Mind Tome on 2. Oh, this is like Jeskai Arcanist, I guess. Well, we take the Dreadhorde. The Dreadhorde Arcanist. Because the rest of their hand's pretty medium without it. So I don't really want to jam the Maze My Tome into a Spell Pierce. So I guess I'm saying go. Yeah. So that Spell Pierce isn't going anywhere. I am a little frightened of what they might play next turn. I don't know what this is. Feels like almost a prowess deck. But it's running counter spells. I don't know what this is. Like, is it control? Is it Flash? No, Flash probably wouldn't run the Arcanist. I don't know what this is. Buying Yorion doesn't really seem to do much. I guess I shock this in and hold up Mythos? In case they play, like, Crackling Drake? I don't know. Okay, it is like a prowess deck. So let's cast our Mythos on this now. I don't think it matters. So they'll probably pierce this. They've got to know something's up. And they didn't cast the looting, but that's probably just to save the prowess trigger for next turn. Let's just get the Oath of Kaya down while we can. No, they have something. Did you run another counterspell? Of course you did. That's unlucky. But, I mean, this is at its core a creature deck. We should have a fine matchup with it. And the Oath of Kaya isn't going anywhere. They do need 2 spells on our turn to save it from Oath of Kaya. And they need to do that repeatedly, because we're just going to keep casting Oaths and Yorions until the cows come home. Okay, that's nice. Am I bolting in to get the Maze Mind Tome in play? I think I am. I don't know that they're gonna kill me super quickly here. But it doesn't seem like they have a creature here. Yeah, okay, so this is the Sprite Dragon, but we're gonna be able to play the Yorion and flicker the Oath. And the Oath is gonna kill it unless they have, like, a pump spell, exactly. So our play this turn is going to be Yorion no matter what, so I think we're fine with the land. I guess we'll play the land to play around, like, Force Spike, Sensor. Do I want to flicker the Tome? Maybe. Let's hold full control. Whoa. Yeah, sure. So it doesn't feel like they have anything. So I think I'm fine flickering both of these, which means I'm just going to get my Scry now. I don't think I want another Tome. If I thought they had a way to save the Sprite Dragon, then I probably would have just kept the Tome on 2 counters because I value the 4 life higher. But I think we're in the driver's seat now. Wow, they binned a Sprite Dragon. I guess they realize it's never getting through, but if you've made that admission, then you're basically conceding. I don't see how else they can win the game. They could have, like, Magma Opus. I'll Scry. I think we'll just hold back Yorion here. Draw with the Tome. Just don't get screwed by some hasty threat. We can be patient. Ooh, Ares Call's gonna be a good one next turn. We can also Yorion next turn and blink the Tome again. Yeah. Like, if they had, like, Mystic's Master or something, maybe they would be okay, but... So, what don't we like in this matchup? Vanishing Verse seems pretty awful. Like, their threats are all probably multicolor if it's just, like, is it prowess? We did see Arcanist. I feel like Kaya is just never really getting... I don't think Kaya's worth it, in other words. I guess there was the Clever Lumimancer, too, I'm forgetting about. So maybe, like, maybe actually the Vanishing Verse isn't all that bad. Ooh, Legion's End actually seems really, really good, though. Like, better than Vanishing Verse, because they probably just have, like, maybe 8 to 12 creatures in their deck, and almost all of them are the same. Yasharn doesn't seem great. I think 1 copy of Thought Distortion might be okay. 1 copy of Soul Guide Lantern might be fine. Shifting Ceratops, at least some number of them. Oath of Kaya honestly just felt outstanding. I think Gaunty is probably Just bad. So maybe this is what we go with. Oh, actually, Elspeth Conqueror's Death seems terrible. Yeah. I think ECD's gotta go. And we can bring in 2 more Vanishing Verses. Yeah, I think I like this. It seems unlikely that the opponent's going to have anything of consequence for us to exile with Elspeth Conqueror's Death. The tax effect is nice, but we can do better. I feel like as long as we keep their creatures off the board, we'll be okay. Okay. That works too. Want to know? People don't like playing against this Abzan deck, because the matchups are so polarized. Like, you either have like an outstanding matchup against it, or a pretty bad one. So, it's hard to blame the opponent for too much for scooping there. As creature decks go, it probably isn't the very worst, because they have haste and flying, which we can struggle with on our worst draws, but I think we're probably pretty happy in that matchup regardless. On the draw, we have Tome on 2, we have Yorion on 3, we have Binding on 4. I think we keep, but I don't love it. Zephyr Void. This matchup feels really, really, really bad. Did I board these out? Must have left one in by accident. Damn. Oh no, sorry, this is a new match altogether. I still think I'm in game 2 for the last one. Okay. I guess we get the Forest in play. So they have the 2-drop, which is like the difference between their terrible draws and their good ones. We'll get our Tome down. ECD could be good in this matchup. They have their Forsaken Monuments, they have their Hedron Archives. But we might just be getting, wow, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're not in danger of Ulamog yet, but... Oh, that's pretty good. We'll keep that. It's the Forsaken Monument, but we have Binding for that at least. I don't think we want to use the Tome here. Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe we should be using the Tome, just in order to find, like, another Yorion, so we can flicker all this stuff. Yeah, I probably should have scryed there. I think Duress is just fine. So they probably take Binding. Although, I mean, like, honestly, these 2 cards are almost the same from their perspective, because they really want to land Forsaken Monument, and both of these cards deal with that. So let's see if we can maybe scry our way to another Yorion. Beautiful. And I think we put the... We're gonna play this on white. I guess we put the Temple Garden into play. Like, I think our colors are sorted out, and I'd rather draw the Cycling Land than put it into play. So now we get to flicker the Binding and the Knight of Autumn, and kill their entire board. So this, you know, this started out by looking pretty terrible, but I think we're pretty happy now. I want to make sure I scry, get my value. Yasharn is, like, honestly not that bad. It does turn off Mind Stone. Yeah, I guess I'll keep Yasharn. Man, this Knight of Autumn has been absolutely clutch. Yeah. Okay. So, out come the Baffling Ends. Kaya... I don't think is that great. Soul God Lantern's not really ideal. I think I do want another Yasharn, just because, like, we need something. Man, we have so much anti-creature stuff in the board, and we're already so good against creatures. Vanishing Verse seems awful, too, actually, come to think of it, because they don't have any monocolored permanents. They have mono-colored permanents. So, I guess Ceratops... Thought Distortion is, like, okay. I mean, we are not tech for this matchup, that's for sure. We haven't seen them use the graveyard, so the Soul God Lantern seems bad. Maybe we just want both of Kaya and, like, one copy of Kaya herself. Maybe both copies of Kaya. Like, all of these cards seem so close to dead in this matchup. We didn't see anything else from them, right? It's just black? Probably no black permanents. Okay. Speaking of decks that have, like, either excellent matchups or terrible matchups, this, like, Artifacts deck is exactly what I'm talking about. We are going to keep this. And hope we don't get, like, Thoughtseized. Surprise top. Yep. Binding's pretty good. Power Stone Shard. Okay. Another Guardian Idol. Alright. Don't think I'm scrying. I don't think there's anything I really want. I don't think the life total's super relevant. Then again, we have all the cards we really need. Okay, I'm gonna scry. It's good scry. And we'll kill one of the Guardian Idols. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe it's supposed to kill the Power Stone Shard just because it's, like, better in all situations. Yeah. We do have the Binding to play next turn to kill the Power Stone Shard. Maybe we shouldn't. Like, maybe they have, like, Hedron Archive. What are they holding up here? Maybe I'm supposed to just buy Yorion. To prepare to Binding their Forsaken Monument and then flicker the Binding. Okay. I think I buy that. How much mana do they have? 4, 5, 6. And... I guess we'll hide that we have the black, too. Wow, alright. I don't even know what this land does. Sure. There's a similar land in Standard right now. I forget what it's called. We'll bottom that. Ooh, Mythos is good too. We can Mythos and play Wall of Blossoms. So this is 5, 6, 7. They could have 8 next turn. Alright, let's play the Wall of Blossoms. Try to make our Yorion better. And we just do this now. Kill the Power Stone Shard. Mind Stone. Man, this deck is surprisingly good against killing random artifacts, too. This has got to feel terrible for the opponent. Ooh. I'm not saying no to that. We don't have the double black to cast it yet, but we will eventually get it from the binding. Yeah, this just feels outstanding. So they have to be pretty careful with their Forsaken Monument, too. If they don't play the Forsaken Monument to try to dodge Binding the Old Gods, then if we can find black, then we get to Thought Distortion it away. Stone, sure. Five, six, 7. Duress. Okay, so this will take the Thought Distortion, but otherwise, we're kind of okay with this. So now that there's no Thought Distortion, I'm kind of inclined to just keep the Tome around. To flicker with the Yorion. Ooh. Nah, we want to play Yorion this turn. Yeah, we'll get the black in play. We want to play Yorion to keep the binding around. The Knight of Autumn is hidden in hand, so if they play Forsaken Monument, we have the answer ready and they don't know about it. So this feels outstanding. We get to kill their whole board again. Now we're just clowning. This isn't even close. Yeah. That cannot have been very much fun. Alright, 2-0. Last match of the night. Let's get into Diamond. Let's try not to find Jeskai, for the love of God. On the play. No companion. Yeah. Keep this. It's awkward. We don't have anything to flicker with the Yorion, really. Lots easier. Ooh. Interesting. I think it's just Inquisition. Because I don't want them Inquisitioning my Vanishing Verse. It's such an efficient answer to their creatures. K command is a ways off. We just take Inquisition here. This is weird. This is like Jund mid-range? I don't think there's anything I want to Vanishing Verse this turn. I don't think there's anything I'm really scared of on 3 from them. Let's just get Kaya in play. We can protect her from Questing Beast with the Vanishing Verse.
I heard you had some dead things that needed to.
The alternative is like cycling this Triumph or buying Yorion.
Funny, that's what I do.
Maybe those were better. Kaya doesn't seem like she's going to be particularly great in this matchup. Alright. I don't think I'm really interested in playing Knight of Autumn this turn, am I? If I play Knight of Autumn and I try to put the 2 counters on it, maybe it's better to do that now when they can't K-command in response. And if they Questing Beast in the Knight of Autumn, we'll just trade with the Questing Beast. We still have the Vanishing Verse available for the Ceratops. I guess I like it. Feels like they have a kill spell, doesn't it? That's not going to stop me from trying. Okay.
Be gone.
Maybe I am supposed to exile the Thoughtseize in case they have like a Cling to Dust or something. Keep my graveyard clean. They could have like Eliminate, they could have like Power Word Kill. Assassin's Trophy. Okay. This could be worse. Let's get our white. Make Yorion easier to cast. We also need triple white if we're ever going to eventually cast this Maria's Call. So Questing Beast hits us for 4, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. So I think the plan here is just going to be to Vanishing Verse. Yeah, it could be that Ceratops comes down next turn and we're sad. I do think I want a shot at casting the Samaria's Call, though. So I won't play that tapped.
Your bags and hit the road.
And I'll buy the Yorion just because we are up against a discard deck. So having extra cards in hand is nice. And we'll hold the Vanishing Verse until their combat step in case they have another Questing Beast in hand. Okay, now's the time to do this. So K-Command will kill Kaya. But that's fine. She's, like, not very good in the matchup anyway. They didn't play the Ceratops pre-combat, which probably means they don't have a land to give it haste. Ooh, how do I feel about Gaunty? So Ceratops is pro-blue, so Yorion won't block it. I think I'm kind of into casting Gaunty here. They're more likely to find to have a kill spell than I am. Yorion just doesn't do much on his own. Let's build our board. That's what this deck does. Builds a board. Ooh. What do we want here? We can take Chandra. Chandra is a nice, clean answer to the Ceratops if we get to cast her next turn. Yeah, I think it's just Chandra. And with that in mind, I think it's finally time to play this land out tapped. And Kaya is not long for this world, so we'll get our knight exiled.
Bye.
Just get the life out of it while we can. So Chandra will -4 on the Ceratops. It will die to K-Command. Unless they use K-Command on the Kaya for some reason. Mirror of the Gods is not bad. Marius Call is also pretty good. So both of these angels trade with the Ceratops and stand a decent chance of protecting Chandra next turn. If they have removal spell, then we're sad. But I think this is just clearly it. Chandra minus on the Ceratops seems reasonably safe, too. We don't have a creature in the bin. Guess we'll just keep their graveyard clean in case they have, I don't know, Croxa.
Be gone.
I really want to try to keep this Chandra around through K-Command. Like, I wonder if it's safe to play Chandra and plus her next turn. I guess it depends what happens here. It's hard to imagine they attack. They could have, like, I guess, Embercleave. They do attack. So I guess the plan, if I block, is to give this Trample, cast K-Command on the 4/4, and they get through for 3. I'm just gonna double block. I guess they could have, like, Atarka's command. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to imagine making this attack without knowing what the plan is, so I don't understand the tanking here. Like, this tanking probably should have happened before the attack, and now... Now what? Sure. I guess I want... white? Are we trading? Tell me we're trading. Oh, yeah. That feels great. And are we K-commanding my face now? I'm happy to discard one of these Yorions. The Assassin's Trophy on the 4/4 token is also an interesting choice, right? Like, they didn't have to do that. They got 1 point of damage out of that. I see. Okay, so they found the Ceratops. They rebought the Ceratops with the K-Command. That's a play I didn't think of. but we did draw, like, the perfect answer. So, even if we play Yorion, Ceratops doesn't block it. Or, Ceratops doesn't care about it. We can't block it. So I think no matter what, we lead with Wall of Blossoms. ECD is an excellent answer. I guess if this other card is Questing Beast, it's better to play Yorion here than Ceratops. Like, this is by far the safest thing to do. Okay. I guess I'm in.
Pack your bags and hit the road.
I think playing Chandra there, as much as I want to, is just flying a little too close to the sun. Because their deck just seems to be, like hand hate, and then hasty mid-range green threats. That have 4 power, and that's a dangerous place for us to be when we're on 4 life. And they did move Heaven and Earth last turn to get us to 4, like, by killing that Angel. Well, it is on 7 cards in exile, too, so we can ult Kaya next turn and gain 7 and get out of danger. So they basically have to kill us this turn. Yep, see? See? Alright. So let's stop playing with our food. Upstairs.
Your sordid history is coming back to haunt you.
My sordid history is coming back to haunt me. It's very true. Let's... I guess we have to worry about yet another Questing Beast, right? Like, we're not out of the woods yet. So let's do this. Let's Knight of Autumn. Gain 4. And now Yorion. And we can put the counters on the Knight of Autumn when it comes back into play, so it trades with the Questing Beast. Halfling doesn't seem great. We haven't seen any cheap creatures out of them. Alright, so Thoughtseize probably takes ECD. Here comes the Ceratops, but it seems too little too late. They can haste it. They choose not even to do that. That makes sense. Here's Chandra. And we'll just minus.
Glad I can help with your not being on fire.
I think we're safe enough to attack here. I don't want to attack with everything. There's no compelling need. We're attacking for lethal next turn anyway. Actually, we had lethal there, didn't we? With if I attack with both and play Oath of Gaia. Oh well. Too cautious. Anyway, I don't get to play with Chandra that often.
Or is it getting a little warm in here?
So we have to attack with both, because just attacking with Yorion runs into the reach of the Ceratops. So this way we get 4 through no matter what. We can oath their face. Cool. So, against Jund mid-range. What do we want against Jund mid-range? The Baffling End seems pretty medium. Like, we didn't see anything out of them that it hits. I mean, you feel like there's got to be some of that stuff in the deck, but just none of it showed up, and we got a pretty good ways through it with the Gaunty. And just didn't see anything. We could have a Ceratops of our own. That doesn't seem ideal. I'm not too upset about bringing in Yasharn. It does, like, it's a 4/4. It lines up with their 4 toughness creatures pretty well. Kaya seemed awful. I think I want the other Oath of Kaya, if nothing else. It just helps our life total. It's another flicker target for Yorion. Extinction event seems good enough. And, like... I honestly don't know what else to bring in. They showed us, like, a willingness to use K-Command to get stuff back from the graveyard, so, like, maybe Lantern? Maybe? I think I just want the Baffling Ends. Like, I feel like they must have some cheaper creatures, and if they don't, then I think we're just bound to win. Like, if all of their creatures are 4 and 5 cost haste threats, I think we're fairly well equipped to deal with that. Let's try this. Honestly, if I, like, we might get another, like, post-sideboarding scoop out of an opponent here, because this matchup feels very, very good. This is one where I'd rather, I would much rather have Demonic Pact than Gaunty. I wanted to play Demonic Pact in this list, but I restrained myself. But, I mean, this is like the deck that Demonic Pact is designed to feast on. We're pretty slow here, but they're pretty slow, and they're a Thoughtseize deck. So, like, I don't really want to mulligan this. I think we just have to have some faith in the heart of the cards. I'll keep this. Yeah. Probably take Mythos, I assume. Seems like the deck the opponent is playing is like Grixis for players who like creatures. Just medium cards, not a super high power level, but just enough disruption to win, just enough of the time to feel okay. That is our 6th land. I'm going to try not to play that one. Maybe we get to cycle it. Sorceress Spyglass. That's one I don't understand. What do you, like, do you name Castle Lochthwain? Do you name... You name Kaya. Well, you're gonna be disappointed, but... Because those aren't in the deck anymore. Okay. Alright, now you name Castle. We have 2 different arts on the Spyglass as well. It's kind of funny. I want to play the cat. I want to play the knight just to kill the Spyglass. But I think it's better to eventually have this as a 4 toughness creature, a 4 power creature. So it trades with Questing Beast. Like, I don't care about this Spyglass yet. Do I buy Yorion? Maybe buying Yorion's okay. They play Questing Beast next turn. How do I feel about that? Fine, I guess. Alright, I'll buy Yorion. And next turn we get to play Yasharan. Life is good. Or opponent misses land altogether, that's fine too. We play Yasharan, we get 2 lands in hand. We have to go to discard. I'm playing Yasharan. I don't get to play the big pig often enough. I guess rather than go to discard, I'll just fetch a forest in case I have another Yasharan later. I want the lands to be in the deck to fetch. I guess, another reason. I'll fetch black. Again, in case I find another Yasharn. I want the plains and the forests in there. There's questing bees. So here we get to Night of Autumn. And have Adamant available for the Mythos, which seems pretty good. But I'm just going to put 2 counters. And say go. I think opponent sideboarding has been suspicious, to say the least. I think that Game 2 somehow ended up easier for us than Game 1 did. I think I'm fine with this trade. Sure. This is going to be 6 mana, maybe 7. I think we just cycle this main phase. Kind Wall of Blossoms. We can't play it and hold up Mythos. Let's just pump the brakes and go slow. There's no reason to rush here. We have Yorion in hand. We can play Wall of Blossoms and Yorion the following turn if that's what we decide we need to do. So they have Coco? Coco's weird if you haven't shown me any less than 4 BMC creatures. K command. Sure. So are we casting the questing beast into the face-up Mythos? Maybe we are. We are soft to Shifting Ceratops. We have to be slightly cautious of that, but I feel like... we'll draw an answer with Wall of Blossoms or Yorion eventually. Ooh, Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize feels pretty good. What? How did these stay in the deck? Okay, I don't understand. It's possible opponent timed out during sideboarding and didn't get to make any changes, and this is just like the default configuration. But that seems weird too, to have 2 Spyglasses in there. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with the opponent here. Okay. I guess I attack? I mean, I guess. Do I? Or I guess I attack and I hold everything? Because if they do rip Shifting Ceratops, then I want to have this answer in hand. And it's not like killing this Spyglass is super relevant. Oath of Kaya doesn't seem like it's going to actually hit anything, though, so I think I'm interested in just emptying my hand as much as possible. And this way, Yorion, like drawing a Yorion off the top, is lethal. Not this time. But I will be very impressed if opponent manages to come back from this. Yeah. Okay. I mean, not the most interesting match in the world, but it did get me to Diamond. And it did get this deck to 3-0, so, like, this deck does just roast everything that isn't Jeskai control. That's what it's designed to do. The problem is that Jeskai control, at least in the tournament scene, is like 40 to 50% of the meta. So, if you like Yorion decks, I think this is probably the only good one in Historic. I think it's worth a shot. You can also try replacing Gaunty with Demonic Pact if you want to, if you want to live your dreams. I wish I had done that. I think probably cutting 2 Kayas, cutting 2 Gaunties, and putting in 4 Demonic Pacts instead is probably pretty good. ECD doesn't seem to hit a whole lot in the meta. You might try putting in, like, a couple Doom Foretold or Treacherous Blessings instead, to give yourself a little bit more game against control. But overall, I mean, the deck feels pretty solid. I'm happy with how this turned out. All right, YouTube folks, let me know in the comments what you thought. Feel free to like, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and I'll see you next time.